What's up guys, I'm BTC. Today we're going to look at all the strengths, weaknesses, and counters of Echo versus all the other heroes. The characters in Overwatch were designed so that while they may be strong against some, they'll be weak against others, and knowing when to switch is important. I want to emphasize that this video is not about showing you tricks, but instead helping you understand those matchups. Keep in mind that just because a hero is strong against another, it doesn't mean an automatic win. Player skill and other factors play a big part in determining how effective a hero can be. One last thing about Echo specifically, I'm not going to cover much of her ultimate because it would just be the mirror match stuff. Duplicating Reinhardt and then going against the Reinhardt is essentially going to be a neutral matchup, so there's not really a whole lot to say about it. Yes, certain characters are better for duplication, but that doesn't really go into the versus matchup scenario. I'll probably make another video talking about the best and worst characters for Echo to duplicate. And with that, let's get into the matchups. Somewhat weak to D.Va. D.Va's able to delete all of the stickies that are an important part of Echo's damage. She also has the ability to chase down Echo even in the sky, and while the focusing beam can be strong against D.Va as it ignores her defense matrix, her high health and armor makes it significantly less effective. The combination of defense matrix and missiles allows D.Va to continue attacking Echo while absorbing almost all of her main damage. Some advantage against Orisa. While she can attack Echo in the air, it's much easier for Echo to hit Orisa than the other way around. The halt ability is largely ineffective, and when Orisa places a barrier, Echo can simply reposition herself to attack from behind the other side. Very strong against Reinhardt, there's really nothing that he can do against Echo other than to hold up his shield, and that can be destroyed quite quickly with the focusing beam. Strong against Roadhog, while he can hit Echo in the air, it's going to do much less damage due to the falloff and spread. Hitting Echo with the hook is certainly possible, but difficult given the distance and speed that Echo will have. Roadhog is mostly going to be an ultimate battery for Echo. Strong against Sigma. The fast cast time of Accretion means that sometimes he can hit her, but it's still unlikely. If Echo is close enough, then Sigma can deal damage, but for the most part, Echo wins this match nearly every time. Very strong against Winston. Like Reinhardt, there's not a whole lot that he can do versus Echo. Yes, he can leap into the air and deal a small amount of damage, but for the most part, Echo will be out of his reach almost all the time. Some advantage against Hammond. Because he has hit scan, he's much better at attacking enemies in the air than the other tank characters, but the distance and falloff substantially reduces the damage. Strong against Zarya. Once again, a limited attack range makes it difficult for this character to deal with Echo in the sky. The ranged attack on Zarya is almost useless in that same situation. However, the stickies are very good for charging Zarya's damage, both on yourself and your teammates, or if the stickies simply hit the ground, Zarya can bubble herself and get some free damage. For the most part, however, Echo will have an advantage as she can continue attacking and Zarya really can't do much. Moving on to DPS, very weak to Ashe. Hitscan DPS are going to be quite strong at dealing with any flying characters, and Echo is no exception. The large amount of distance will always give advantage to the hitscan character over Echo, who uses projectile attacks. Bastion's a bit of a tricky situation. Both have advantages against each other. Bastion being a hitscan means that he can easily knock Echo out of the sky. However, because he doesn't move in sentry form, it makes it extremely easy for Echo to land all of her stickies on Bastion. This is a huge amount of burst damage that can be quickly followed up with a focusing beam to take out the Bastion, or at least to weaken him enough to where a teammate can finish the job. This matchup essentially depends on whether or not Bastion is paying attention to the Echo. If he is, then Echo is going to be destroyed. If his attention is elsewhere, then Echo will likely be able to destroy him. Most of the time, however, Bastion will have the advantage. Very strong against Doomfist. It's unlikely that Doomfist is going to land any of his abilities on Echo, and his primary attack will be largely ineffective as well. On the reverse, Echo will have an easier time hitting Doomfist with any of her attacks because of his large hitbox. Neutral matchup against Echo for obvious reasons. Some advantage against Genji. Although he's able to close the distance, his movement abilities don't have quite the same range as Echo, but he can still be a threat. The focusing beam ignoring deflect is quite powerful, as not only can Echo continue to damage Genji, but he will be locked into the animation where he can't fight back. Somewhat weak against Hanzo. While hitscan is optimal versus flying characters, the high speed of Hanzo's attack makes him still very much a threat, combined with not having any fall off to his attack. Very strong against Junkrat. It will be quite difficult for him to land any of his attacks on Echo, and quite easy for her to land attacks on him. Very weak to McCree. His primary attack is great for dealing with long-range flying characters, and his ultimate is extremely effective at dealing with an Echo in the sky who doesn't have the benefit of hiding behind cover. Minor disadvantage to Mei. While Mei's primary attack is not going to do anything versus Echo, her alternate moves at an incredibly fast speed, does a lot of damage, and has no fall off. It works surprisingly well at dealing with flying characters. On top of that, Mei also has the wall and ice block to prevent damage from Echo's stickies and focusing beam. Some strength against Pharah. At close range, Pharah will have the advantage as it's more difficult to avoid the rockets and only requires 2 of them to eliminate Echo. However, at medium and long range, Echo will have the advantage from a faster attack and faster movement speed. While Pharah just kind of hovers in the air, Echo is able to move around very quickly. Very strong against Reaper. There's almost nothing that he can do to deal any kind of significant damage to Echo. The spread and fall off of his attack makes it useless versus Echo in the sky. Very weak to Soldier. Hit scan is again strong against flying characters, and Soldier in particular being able to heal himself makes it even better at dueling with an Echo. Also, his ultimate is amazing versus any characters that are in the sky who don't have the benefit of cover. Somewhat weak to Sombra, her attacks are not going to be the best versus Echo, but they can still deal decent damage that adds up. The main factor, however, is being able to hack the Echo and pull her out of the sky. Sombra can go invisible, position herself directly underneath an Echo, which allows for an easy hack. Very strong against Symmetra. The relatively slow movement speed of the orbs makes them easy to avoid for Echo while she's in the sky, and also Symmetra's primary attack is going to be useless. The mini sentries are also quite ineffective, as Echo will likely be out of their range. Some advantage against Torbjorn. While his attack can hit Echo, it's a little more tricky because it's an arcing projectile attack. The turret can be a nuisance if Echo isn't paying attention, but the turret has a maximum range, and it's fairly easy to get outside that maximum range for a character that's in the sky like Echo. This means that the turret can be destroyed for free at distance with either the primary attack or with stickies. Strong against Tracer. While it will be difficult for Echo to land hits on Tracer, the spread and fall-off damage of Tracer's attack is going to be quite ineffective against Echo. Ultimately, neither character is going to do much against the other, but Echo will likely have an advantage in most situations. Very weak to Widow. Once again, hit scan, strong against flying characters, but in particular, Widow being able to take out the Echo in one hit is even better, although Echo can sometimes land some free stickies on a Widow that is stationary and zoomed in. Moving on to the support category, some weakness to Ana. While the damage from her is not all that significant, her ability to zoom in and use hit scan attacks can certainly help deal with an Echo. However, in a similar situation to Widow, Echo can sometimes land some free stickies on an Ana that's stationary and zoomed in. Weak against Baptiste. While his hit scan attack is not the greatest, it's still a useful tool against Echo. His self-heal also makes him very good at dueling with her, and he can save himself or a teammate that gets hit with stickies by using his immortality field. Incredibly strong versus Brigitte. Damage-wise, there's really nothing that she can do versus an Echo. Her shield is also going to get melted quite quickly. However, Brigitte's repair pack is almost an instant heal, and it's good for helping teammates that get hit by stickies. Strong against Lucio. While it may be difficult for Echo to land hits on him, it's more difficult for him to hit her. Echo can also use stickies by putting them in front of a Lucio who is wall riding, so that even if they don't hit him directly, he'll end up riding over them and taking damage. Weak against Mercy. While she's not going to be doing damage versus Echo herself, Mercy will likely be damage boosting a teammate that is trying to hit Echo. This makes it all that much easier for a character like McCree or Soldier to deal with the Echo. Very strong against Moira. Her primary attack won't reach Echo at longer range, and the orb is useless versus characters in the sky. Echo will have the advantage in nearly every situation, although Moira can use the Fade to avoid stickies. Weak versus Zenyatta. Although he has a projectile attack, it can still be useful against flying characters. Add on to that the Discord, which makes it easier for not only him, but also his teammates in dealing with the Echo. However, the size of Zenyatta's hitbox, combined with his lack of mobility, does make him a slightly easier target for Echo stickies. And that's all the matchups for Echo. As I mentioned, I will likely make a video specifically addressing her ultimate and which characters are the best and worst to duplicate. What hero counters, strengths, and weaknesses would you like to see next? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell to get notified. You can get some cool gear, join my Discord server, or follow me on social media with the links down in the description below. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters, and remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.